Hey, Forever Your Guru here. This is AJ speaking. Today we're going to be covering a board game called The Settlers of Catan. It is a resource management game, first invented by Klaus Teuber of Germany, and it was released in 1995. Klaus decided to make this game from playing board games with some of his friends, like is very common in Germany. And what he noticed is a lot of his friends were playing these resource trading games and suffering from what a lot of people happen to call the law of greed, or what most of us know as human nature. We don't like to give things up. We don't like to trade. What's good for one is only good for one. What's mine is mine, and I'm not going to give it to you. A lot of people in America suffer from this problem. Well, Klaus wanted to do something a little bit different. So he decided to come up with a game that not only encouraged trading, but forced you to. You could not have enough resources normally in any one game to be able to build what you need to build and win in Settlers of Catan. So you have to trade with other players or the bank. No way of getting around it. So you either take a huge penalty by giving it to the imaginary bank, which is just the deck, or you can trade for whatever somebody else is willing to trade for. A lot of times you get much better results from trading with a person than you ever will from trading with the bank. So like I said, the game did come out in 1995. The first base of the game came out in 1995, the original board game. Soon after that, the 5 and 6 player version came out, which added 2 more color factions, a couple more tiles, and then some extra pieces for the border to be able to hold it all together. In 1997, the first expansion actually came out, which was called Seafarers. It added a lot to the game, including a whole bunch of sea tiles, ship tokens, which were supposed to count as trade routes, and the ability to have scenarios of different islands and a lot more exploration. Later on, 2 years later, actually to be exact, 5 and 6 player expansion for Seafarers came out, which once again just added a couple more tiles and the 2 other faction colors for the 5 and 6 player. In 1998, Cities and Knights came out, which added a lot to the game. Although no new tiles were added, a lot of extra pieces were added for. I would say it gave the game a lot more strategy and a lot more backstabbing. Cities and Knights is definitely one of those expansions if you have some players that can think outside of the box, because there's a lot of ways to shut down other players with Cities and Knights, and a lot of ways to more or less make the game your own without even having to trade with other people. It's pretty interesting. So like I said, 1998, that one came out. In 2000, the 5 and 6 player version of that came out, and once again, all that added was the color tokens for the other 2 factions. Let's see, in 2008, the next big expansion called Traders and Barbarians was released. One of the main things to note about Traders and Barbarians is the fact that Traders and Barbarians is a grouping of a lot of other small expansions that had come out in between the year of 2000 and 2008. Klaus thought it would be a great idea to be able to bundle all these together, because some of them were even limited editions and some of them were conference edition stuff that regular people wouldn't be able to get their hands on, and others were just limited editions that no one would be able to get their hands on unless they happen to be at that one specific place. So they put them all together. Also in 2008, the 5 and 6 player came out. Once again, all that adds is the extra pieces for the other 2 factions. Explorers and Pirates was the last expansion to come out for this great game. It came out in 2013. Also in 2013, the 5 and 6 player came out. Explorers and Pirates is kind of a combination of all of the 3 expansions that had come before it. There is lots of commodity trading in Pirates. There are tons of backstabbing methods in Pirates. There's tons of sea-going exploration in Pirates. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful expansion. If I had to say the first one that you should get as an expansion, even though Seafarers did come out first, I would say get Cities and Knights. I would say Explorers and Pirates. Then I would say Traders and Barbarians, and Seafarers last. The only reason I say Seafarers last is because you literally need over 3 feet of table space in one direction and anywhere between 4 to 5 feet in another direction just to be able to put the Seafarers board up. Remember, there's a whole bunch of scenarios in Seafarers, and some of them get quite big. So if you really wanted to get your bang for the buck without having to buy a new table like some people end up having to do, the other expansions are really the way to go, at least at first. Now, there were a couple of special editions that came out. Their 10-year anniversary, they decided to come out with a wonderful collector's edition, and it was 3D Catan. This thing was so overbuilt. The pieces are beautiful. The craftsmanship is amazing. It even came in a treasure chest, a real wooden chest. Emblazoned on the top, wood burned actually, with the logo of Catan. It is beautiful. It was also a very limited run, sold out very, very fast. You can find some of the sealed ones still going for $700 to $1,000 on eBay, especially since the people that were actually making that at the time are no longer even the carriers of Catan in America anymore. If you want to look into that, you can look into that on your own. I can put some links in the bottom, but we're not going to cover who they are right now. Also, 5 years later, there was a 15th anniversary that came out. Not as spectacular, but still noteworthy. This one was not made by the American side of things. It was made from the German company that put out Catan. For if you don't know, the foreign versions of Catan are a little different than the domestic versions of Catan. The foreign versions are smaller. So if you see online the ability to buy an expansion that is foreign and you don't have the base game that is foreign, don't buy it. It won't fit. The only exception is Cities and Knights because it doesn't add any tiles, it just adds pieces and other mechanics. So therefore that one is universal with almost every other set out there. Now besides that, there's a lot of fan service that goes along with Catan, including wearables. There's shirts, there's socks, there's gosh, what else is there? There's pants, there's hats, there's plushies, there's all kinds of different fan service boards. There's some that, they have Catan parties, so they'll make a veggie tray or a fruit tray that's in the shape of Catan. There are also people that were very sad that they couldn't get their hands on an affordable 3D version. So there's tons of people out there that made their own 3D versions of Catan, either because they couldn't get it or they thought they could do it better. And in my opinion, I think some of these are just gorgeous. Also, Lego got their hands in it. They try to, at least. They did release a Lego board on a very old type of crowdfundme site. Unfortunately, it did not pass, so the Lego board never came to fruition. Also, there are different types like 3D printed boards. There are boards inlaid into tables. There's entire tables designed just for Catan that actually have cutouts for it, including colors and all kinds of other stuff to signify where each faction's going to sit. It's really, really amazing. There's also a lot of spin-offs of Catan. There is, let's see, as I'm looking at the ones that I have, there is Germany, which is in a separate series called Catan Geographies. There is the Struggle of Rome, which is in a set called Catan Histories. There is the Cadmere, which is Catan Adventures. Another one of the Catan histories is the Merchants of Europe. Another Catan histories is the Settlers of the Stone Age. Then there's Settlers of America, Trails to Rails. That's another one of the Catan histories. Then there's a collector's edition that they came out with a few years back called Catan Ancient Egypt. There's Star Trek Catan. And there's even one that I found from a gentleman that made it on his own, a Star Wars Catan, which is pretty amazing. There's also a whole bunch of like set-alone games, Catan Dice, Settlers of Catan, Rivals of Catan. Both of those are card games. Yeah, there's an entire Catan universe, and it is huge. Some of these people even go as far to travel all around the country, some of them the world, for the Catan championships, tournaments. There's one every year, going back as far as I can remember, where if you went, there was even a way to play Catan that was 800 times the normal size of the little pieces, which means we're talking about something to the effect of like 4-foot squares where each tile. Yeah, I mean, crazy stuff. Origins is one of those cons that you can go to. I believe that's around the Ohio area. And Gen Con, which I believe is in, let's see, Indiana area. Both of those happen at different times, and both of them are very, very surrounding the Catan lifestyle. Now, I just want to thank everybody for watching the video. And also remember, please like and subscribe. This is our second video, and we need all the help we can get. Remember, hit the little bell. You'll know when we come out with new stuff. Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out on the 28th. We're going to have an unboxing of that special collector's edition, and then soon after that, we're going to start a Let's Play of it right away. Right after that, remember, March 3rd, we're going to be doing an unboxing of the regular Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch with the red and blue controllers, the Nintendo Switch backpack, the Nintendo Switch case, the Nintendo Switch, tons of stuff for the Nintendo Switch. Also, we will have the Zelda Breath of the Wild Collector's Edition coming in, and every single one of the amiibos that will be out at launch for it. So watch that. We'll be doing all those unboxings right when we get that stuff also. And just once again, this is forever your guru, AJ. Thank you. Now I'm signing off.